Prosecutors have filed a list of charges against a fourth person in the Richmond Hill explosion case, including 2 counts of murder and more than 40 of arson. They say 44-year-old Gary Thompson was part of each and every attempt to burn down a home in Richmond Hill, including when the home exploded in a deadly fireball. And prosecutors now say Thompson is the unnamed accomplice in the scheme to collect insurance money, a scheme that turned deadly. Good evening, everyone. I'm John Stair.
And I'm Andrea Moorhead. Court records claim that Thompson was approached early on and conspired with Mark and Bob Leonard and Monserrate Shirley. The explosion at Shirley's Southside home killed her neighbors, Dion and Jennifer Longworth.
Shirley is now cooperating with prosecutors under a plea bargain, and Thompson's arrest could be just the beginning. Eyewitness
News reporter Jeremy Brilliant has a close look tonight at what prosecutors claim Thompson did and his response to those ongoing charges. Jeremy.
Andrea, John, prosecutors say Thompson was essentially the hired help, not a mastermind, but a person who was tasked with a specific duty. Someone offered money to do a very specific job. And while Thompson may have admitted his involvement early on, he denied to police that he had anything to do with the actual explosion. Prosecutors say Gary Thompson was implicated after they reached a plea deal with one of the prime suspects, Monserrate Shirley.
Pinpointing the information that led to these charges and originated with Ms. Shirley.
Detectives say Thompson worked for suspect Mark Leonard in construction, and when it came to the explosion, he put Thompson to work, at one time allegedly offering $5,000 to burn down Shirley's house with gasoline. When that attempt failed, he consulted with Thompson. Leonard asked Gary Thompson if the cheap thermostat would spark when it comes on, and Gary Thompson advised him that none of the newer thermostats would spark. However, a cheaper non-digital will spark. Investigators determined that the spark that led to the explosion more than 2 years ago likely came from a microwave or thermostat.
It's still upsetting. So, yeah, we'll get through it. This is we'll just the wheels of justice kind of turn a little slow, but now they're gaining momentum.
In any given case, we are equally frustrated sometimes at the length of time that's required, but that's just the nature of the criminal justice system, and that's something that we have to live with and deal with. And we understand their frustration.
In Richmond Hill, 2 lives were lost, dozens of homes destroyed with millions of dollars in damage, and countless lives changed forever.
This is one case that really stuck in our minds and our hearts for a long time, because we're talking about families. We're talking about a whole community was impacted by it. And yes, we will continue to bring people like this to justice. And the question was asked today, are there any other suspects out there? The prosecutor said at this point that there are no targeted investigations after any particular people, but if new information comes to light, certainly investigators will act upon it. And John and Andrea, tomorrow morning, Thompson is expected to have his initial hearing here downtown.
All right, and we will be there. Jeremy, thank you.
Now, you may recall that Monserrate Shirley agreed to plead guilty to 2 counts of conspiracy to commit arson. And that means she'll have to testify against all the defendants in the case, and that now includes Thompson. The judge will decide Shirley's prison sentence after the trials for the other people allegedly involved. Mark Leonard and his brother Bob face more than 50 counts of murder, conspiracy, and arson. Accused ringleader Mark Leonard is set to go to trial on murder and arson charges in June, a trial that will be held in South Bend. The case against Bob Leonard will be back in court in February to hear motions from the attorneys. Now, you'll want to check out our interactive timeline at WTHR.com. It lets you zoom in and scroll through all of our stories about the Richmond Hill explosion investigation and go deeper into each for all the details, photos, and video.